CinemaJaw is brought to you by Know Your Company. Got 25 to 75 people in your company? Then check out knowyourcompany.com, software that helps companies like Airbnb know their company better. And we thank them for their support. And by the Midwest Game Nerds podcast. Ever wish you had a CinemaJaw-like podcast that was about video games? Look no further than the Midwest Game Nerds podcast. Each episode talks about the latest and greatest in video games across all platforms. Whether it's VR, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, PC, mobile, you get the idea. The Midwest Game Nerds podcast discusses it all. Tune in live on every other Sunday at 7:30 p.m. on Twitch TV /Midwest Game Nerds, or find their episodes on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, or at MidwestGameNerds.com. And we thank them for their support. You're listening to CinemaJaw, the greatest movies podcast ever, recorded in Wicker Park, Chicago. My name is Matt Kay, and with me is...
Ride the Movie Guy. And sitting alongside us, as always, Matt, is our engineer and local filmmaker, Elias Rodriguez.
How's it going, Jawheads?
Matt, we have been doing CinemaJaw for over 7 years.
Getting close to 8.
And every single week, I try to escape. I try to get out of the CinemaJaw.
Come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
You've been waiting all day.
This is torture, Matt.
Today especially, we really pissed each other off.
We sure did.
It was classic. I actually kind of want to share that with the Jawheads.
We may. We use, as we've mentioned before, this application called Slack, where we can talk about ideas for the show. And literally, we had a CinemaWAR for about 40 minutes, just going back and forth. It was quite humorous.
It was epic.
It was. But I mentioned that I was trying to escape from CinemaJaw, escape from the team.
What would you do with your life, Ryan?
That is our theme this week, our top 5 favorite escape movies.
This is a good... I didn't realize how many of these I really like. It's a genre I'm a fan.
You're into the escape movies.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. We are doing this because of our Movie of the Month Club.
Yes. I'm excited for this. We are reviewing Colonia, starring Emma Watson and Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah, there's definitely an escape going on in that movie.
There is.
There is. We also have a great guest who's going to be joining us shortly.
Yes, Andrew Melzer. He is a filmmaker, animator here in Chicago, comedian, writer, director.
Yeah, part of a sketch group. Can't wait to talk to Andrew. Always good to get these local guys in here, isn't it, Matt?
It is, yes. Yeah. Up-and-coming filmmakers.
For sure. He has a web series out called The Street Wizard's Apprentice that we'll be talking to him about. And we were able to watch it, and it is quite humorous. So,
indeed.
Can't wait to talk to him. Besides that, we have a whole lot more going on, don't we, Elias?
Oh, yes. We are going eye for an eye on Free Fire.
I mentioned Colonia. We also have a review of Colossal.
Yes. And since we are going eye for an eye on Free Fire, and we have Andrew here, I thought, why not Andrew versus Matt Kay in Fire movie trivia? Think of movies with fire in the title.
Cool.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, what was that you were even talking to me on Slack that got us all heated in the first place?
Oh, there was some trailer that dropped. I can't remember what it was.
You know exactly what it was.
Yes. Thor. Everybody knows what it is. Like the big thing on the internet today. Actually, it was yesterday.
And this is what ticks me off about this. And it almost...
Here we go.
No, it really angers me even more because I had not even...
Why do these things need to make you angry?
I'm making a point. I was very angry.
I could tell.
Okay.
It's palpable.
I didn't even know they were making another Thor movie.
Guess what, Ryan?
They are.
Yes.
Right.
As long as they keep making money, they'll keep making movies.
And B, when I finally did watch the trailer, because I had not seen it, and we were arguing back and forth.
I'm so glad you watched it.
So I finally did watch it, and I was like, what the hell is Matt Kay talking about? Why did he get me so riled up for this piece of crap trailer to begin with?
Oh, I can't wait till we go eye for an eye, speaking of piece of crap trailers.
But here's the thing. Reason why we're going eye for an eye on this particular topic is because you clearly, I drink the Kool-Aid more than anyone I know. I mean, you get so hyped up. You literally make it sound to me when you're writing to me on Slack that the entire world comes to a complete stop over these trailers.
It was a big deal.
No, it's not that big of a deal.
It was a big deal.
I guarantee you, everybody I was around, no one even knew the trailer was out. And you're making it sound like, dude, we have to talk about Thor. That's the only thing anybody's ever talking about now.
The whole impetus was the stylistic departure. They made it like a Guardians of the Galaxy type thing. And yes, this was a big thing. It was a very successful piece of marketing, and I thought it was interesting.
Okay, so what's the CinemaWAR topic?
I guess your CinemaWAR topic, because we're not going to argue about the Thor departure, stylistic departure.
It does have something to do with
something to do with that. Is what is it? You say it. I don't even know. You wrote it.
Yeah, it is. I don't even know. Are you supposed to believe the hype of these trailers when these big blockbusters are coming out and people like Matt are literally peeing in their pants and like calling that we have to do something about Thor immediately? Do you believe that hype?
Also known as movie fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or are the studios just leading us along like a bunch of lemmings? CinemaWAR.
Hey, Kool-Aid tastes great.
Hey.
Is what I'm trying to tell you, man. It comes in all kinds of flavors and colors.
Yeah. All right. We'll get to it. I'm still
I know.
steamed.
This is great. I can't wait. I almost want to just do it now.
No, but the problem is I'm even more upset after I watched the trailer because I thought it was absolute garbage. So I'm like, what is he talking about
Just
after all
save it.
this? Oh, this is outrageous. So, as we say each and every week, it is a jam-packed jaw, and
As always.
it will be a jam-packed jaw. So without further ado, we bring in our guest. Andrew Melzer, as we mentioned, is a writer-director of the web series The Street Wizard's Apprentice. He is also part of the sketch group Muscular Clown. I love that name. Andrew, welcome to Cinemajaw.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to jump right in and say, how did the name Muscular Clown come about?
The Kyle Talley, who plays the Street Wizard in our web series, when he was a kid, he says he could draw muscular bodies and clown faces because they're simple, and he did it enough that his parents got a little worried, and they sent him to some therapy for it. When he told us that story, we were kind of like trying to come up with names, and Muscular Clown just made its way in, and all of our first imagery was all just his drawings of clowns from when he was a kid.
I've got to see those.
I'll
awesome.
send them to you.
Yes, please do.
It reminds me in Superbad where they just kept drawing the penis.
It's exactly like
Right?
that. Yeah.
That's awesome. So with the sketch comedy group, did this start on stage or was it always sort of audio-visual sketch comedy?
It was always meant to be audiovisual. Like when we started, we were all at film school, and we were just trying to like come up with a way to make quick films for practice that we could just kind of like get out. And that's when we decided just to form a sketch group and just kind of knock it out.
And you went to film school here in Chicago?
No, me and Matt went to film. Matt is another person inside the group. We went to the Savannah College of Art and Design.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where we met.
And then you guys moved up to Chicago.
Yeah, we moved to Virginia and then Chicago, but yeah, we technically Muscular Clown started in Virginia.
Gotcha. So where did the idea for the Street Wizard's Apprentice come from? And tell, I guess, the Jawhead sort of the sales pitch on the web series.
Okay.
Because it is very funny.
Thank you. So the sales pitch would be, I guess, if you were starting to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer and you ended up kind of getting Always Sunny out of it, I guess would be my elevator pitch if I had a producer and strapped in an elevator. But I'm sorry, what was the question? Sorry, there's a lot of anger in the room. And
Oh man, can you feel it?
Yeah,
oh,
just send
this
me.
is
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
I love it.
No, I was going to say, where did the idea, I guess, come from? Originate from?
Oh yeah, so we were watching a lot of the Highlander television series for a while when we moved up here because like none of us had jobs and we were just like spending
ridiculous.
all day going through it. Oh, yeah, it's so ridiculous, but it's amazing at the same time. And we got obsessed with the credits, so we kind of came up with a storyboard to do a credits for this really terrible show, like a show that we feel like no one would watch, but would kind of probably make it on the TNT in the 90s. And from there, we just started kind of cranking out kind of like vague ideas, and it kind of just steamrolled into a 6-episode season.
And so the idea is for the Jawheads listening to this idea is that this wizard is actually cursed, and that anybody who is a non-wizard sees him as basically like a hobo out on the street,
Right.
a bum, right? And so it's pretty funny because he's still performing magic. And like one of the first gags that you see in the series is that he is going to transport this apprentice of his to his house, and his house is a cardboard box, which right away the gag is, wow, he really is just a homeless guy. But then he goes to climb into the cardboard box, and it's one of these endless boxes. So he goes into somewhere like, whoa, we transported into somewhere. But where did he go? Once you finally go inside, just a big, larger box.
Yeah.
And that's really, when I saw that kind of humor constantly, it is that type of beat all the time. You constantly have this joke where, oh, he is a wizard, but then there's another joke or tag after that constantly.
Totally, yeah. We wanted to get like the pettiness of life kind of wrapped up in the show. Like, yeah, there is magic, but you wouldn't be that interested in it if you knew what it was. You would still kind of care about people insulting you or, drugs or whatever it is that you're actually into.
Yeah. That's the other thing is he's dealing with drug dealers.
Well, that's his apprentice.
Right.
Is pretty much
Yes.
a drug dealer.
Yeah, the only person that knows who he is his drug dealer.
But he's not a very good drug dealer.
Oh, he's awful. He actually never accomplishes a sale the entire series.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty funny stuff. So how long did it take to film the whole thing?
Filming it took about a year because we were kind of doing it on weekends in between regular work, but editing it is really what took a long time. That took like another year just because we had so many effects and we were like, we thought we knew how to do them until we started doing them. And then we had to kind of teach ourselves how to make that happen.
And when you go to premiere this out, I mean, do you roll it out series-wise? Because I saw it, it's the 6, the screener.
Yeah.
But how did it sort of come out naturally?
Well, when it's going to be released, when does this podcast come out?
Monday.
Okay, so this will come out before the web series will. But when we do release it, we're just going to drop it all at once. They'll be divided up by each vignette or episode.
Okay.
I know that you saw there's the opening credit sequence that kind of goes throughout.
Goes throughout.
Yeah, so that'll be there in front of each one that it's paired with.
Okay, but put the whole thing out. It's like a Netflix series. You can watch the whole thing.
You can binge it.
Exactly, yeah. We were thinking about trying to do the because we've seen a lot of web series that put one out and then maybe they're actually just making it and that's what's causing them to put one out later. But we figured the way people kind of absorb media now, everyone just wants to sit down and see it all as opposed to seeing one and then waiting a week.
It's an interesting thing. It's happening in podcasts too, not to get too esoteric, but S-Town versus Serial.
Oh, yeah.
They released S-Town all at once, but Serial, obviously the name came out one at a time over a course of weeks.
Right.
So I don't know which one is better, but I like both. I think I like binging.
Yeah, I do. And especially for a web series that has somewhat of an arc like yours does, you can just put it on like I did right before the podcast. And you can watch the thing and boom, it's about the whole thing was roughly 30 minutes.
Yeah.
For the whole series. And then it's almost like watching like a nice short film, so it works that way.
So I want to go back a little further before film school, when you're still growing up. Was there a movie in particular that sort of influenced you or changed your life or one that got into your head and said, this is what I want to do?
Oh, yeah. Shaun of the Dead, in a big way, came out when I was in high school, and that's when I made the decision I wanted to pursue comedic films. And then I think actually weirdly enough, right around the time I saw that, I bought the Clerks DVD, and there's a super long movie about making of Clerks. It's almost twice as long as Clerks is.
I don't think I've ever seen that. I've got to see that.
Yeah, it's called The Snowball Effect.
Nice.
It chronicles the weird overnight thing they did, and that seemed they really romanticized it, and I was like, man, I'll do that. But
that was the thing that made you say, this is for me?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before that, I was still doing every Friday, I would make all my friends do this weird Saturday Night Live thing where I would just try to write my own sketches and then film it with my dad's camera. But one of the guys who was with, who I thought was a genius at the time, because he was always coming with these great sketches, just found this website where he had the Belushi era sketches all written out. So he would just print those off and say it was his, and then we'd film them. And I was like, this guy's amazing. How can I be like this guy?
Cheeseburger. This is genius.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But a lot of the Wizard's Apprentice was filmed on the streets of Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
So you said you filmed on the weekends, but did that pose any problems where you're out filming and people are walking by yelling stuff as this so-called wizard is dressed up in this goofy outfit?
Yeah, we were most concerned with police showing up, but the few times that they did, they were just like, what are you doing? Okay. And then they would just drive off.
Student film, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But, there was a lot of just random drunks coming by because we were most of it kind of takes place right by this one bar. I forget what it's called, but it's over off the Green Line. And a lot of people from there would just kind of try to get involved and put me in. And that just got a lot. And we filmed a lot during the day, which was astonishing that there so many people were hammered by 2 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
Especially off the Green Line.
Yeah, well, why not off the Green Line?
I don't know. You take the Green Line, don't you?
I do.
That's what I was referring to right there.
There you go.
You jackass.
Back to personal attacks.
Oh, it's just going to keep coming on.
Right over his head. But for the listeners that are listening and eager to check out the web series, where's the best place to view it online?
So the website is streetwizardseries.com, but also if you search Muscular Clown or The Street Wizard's Apprentice into YouTube, it should come up.
Now, are you guys planning to expand on the Street Wizard's Apprentice or another project in the works as far as the sketch comedy group goes?
Well, we certainly have a couple other projects in the work, but as far as Street Wizard goes, we're sending it out to festivals. And, if anyone is interested in funding a next series, if anyone's listening here and is like, I have $5,000 I can just throw at these kids, we'll do another one. Sure. Why not?
There you go. Yeah, go to the website. Support the Kickstarter as soon as you get one going.
Yeah.
And for the listeners that want to maybe follow yourself on Twitter or all that good stuff?
Oh, well, actually, I handle all the Muscular Clown stuff. That's my
Okay.
personal stuff. So Muscular Clown at twitter.com. Twitter.com/Muscular Clown.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And Instagram, same thing. Muscular Clown.
That
Universal
handle wasn't taken?
No.
Wow.
Weirdly enough, when we first started putting out videos, there were a lot of buff clowns that would come up in weird videos with us, but we've pushed them out. It's just us now.
I love it. Buff clowns would pop
A
up.
bunch of juggalos, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, some.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Now, we like to
Pretty much.
end
There
all
you
of
go.
our guest interviews with some silly cinema cues, we call them. Get to know the guest through the eye of the lens. Elias has always got something up his sleeve.
Yes. Okay, so Andrew, you come across both Dumbledore and Gandalf the Grey, and they are both hobos on Skid Row, and you could only rehabilitate one of them. Who would you pick?
Gandalf.
Why?
Oh, why? I don't know.
It's always the why.
Who is
that hits
Gandalf or who?
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
Oh, God. Okay.
I don't know, just to upset everyone I know who's really into Harry Potter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answer. Yeah.
Got it. All right, so if you could be the drug dealer for any movie star in history, who would it be and why?
Ooh, in history?
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough one. I got to think of someone who didn't die of a drug overdose because I don't want that responsibility.
Right.
Yeah, that would be awful.
That's a good question.
Robert Downey Jr. because he turned it around. You know,
did, he did.
So I could be there like he was pretty crazy, but look at him. It's great.
Right.
He's Iron Man.
Because
No regrets. It all got him to where he is today.
Exactly. Yeah. He owes me.
that's a really good pick.
Nice.
Yeah, you're right. Because, yeah, you can brag about that.
Yeah. Talk about how Kiss Kiss Bang Bang kind of like brought him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
I love that movie too.
Yeah. It is a really good one. Val Kilmer. Highly recommend.
He's so good in that.
Yeah. That everything, Elias?
That's all.
All right. Good stuff.
Now
So-
I'm missing Val Kilmer, man. Where's he been lately?
I know.
I love him.
I feel like the last thing I saw him in, and I know it wasn't, it's just what I watched before I saw Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, was Tombstone. And he looks like he put on like 100 pounds in his head.
Yeah. He did. He did.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So Andrew is going to be sitting in on this entire jaw. He has his top 5 favorite escape movies. Brings us to a segment called Eye for an Eye. Elias?
Eye for an Eye, interested or ignore. Free Fire. Set in Boston in 1978, a meeting in a deserted warehouse between two gangs turns into a shootout and a game of survival. The film stars Brie Larson, Armie Hammer, and Charlton Copley, and is written and directed by Ben Wheatley, whose last film was 2015's High Rise. We throw it over to Rye.
We watched the trailer right before we got started here, and this is a single location type movie. It looks like I think in the trailer it's probably a tough sell because the comedy is really going to come from these unique characters all getting together and having one big shootout and hoot and holler of a time. Cast is pretty good. I'm not overly excited to see it, but I think the film does have potential, especially if it is smartly written, which it had that potential in the trailer. But again, we're seeing 2 minutes of it. I think fleshed out, it's going to be pretty good. Slightly interested in this one. Matt?
Believe it or not, Ryan, I couldn't agree more with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
We finally agree today.
It's a slight interested. I mean, it's Brie Larson, right? And Charlton Copley, such a tough name to say. I love that dude. Hardcore Henry was amazing. Pretty much anything he's in, I'm always
It
excited.
goes with that hardcore Henry.
Oh, I
again.
think
Amazing.
no, that movie was a technical marvel. Anyway, no, this one looks stupid but fun. And it seems like they were all standing around in some backlot studio and had nothing better to do but shoot a movie. And this is what we're going to get.
Andrew, interest or ignore?
Oh, I'm in. Yeah. Great.
You saw the trailer. It looks like fun.
Yeah. It looks like a blast. The cast is great. I saw Tires from Spaced. I don't know if anyone's a fan of that show.
I don't know.
I was like Edgar Wright's first thing with Simon Pegg they did in BBC.
Gotcha.
Oh, Spaced. Yeah.
Yeah. The bike messenger that's on E was like super old and in this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't notice him. Nice.
3 interesteds as we move over to Elias.
You know what? It looks like just a short film to me because it's all in one location. I've been watching so many short films lately. I'm kind of. It seems like it might be a tough sell, as you said, and exhausting. I'm ignoring it.
That Elias.
He's tough.
He
You know,
is.
he's a tough
I think the
critic.
last 2 weeks I've gone on the opposite side of
I
the
agree.
whole table.
Get on the same page, will you?
3 interesteds, 1 ignore for Free Fire. We'll probably have a review, I think, next Jaw. Good chance, anyways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Speaking of new movies, Matt, what do you get when you mix Anne Hathaway, Jason Sudeikis, alcohol, plus a giant monster and robot attacking Seoul, South Korea, you get one of the most bizarre and interesting films of 2017. I hit the theater to check it out.
You don't remember anything last night, huh?
I got really melodramatic, didn't I?
Told me that you weren't really on a vacation. That you've been looking for a job for a year and your boyfriend didn't work out.
You are out of control.
What?
I've packed your things. They're in the bedroom.
What?
And since you didn't have any money, you decided to move back here.
Is there anything else?
Don't remember anything.
Anne Hathaway plays Gloria, who when we first meet her loses her boyfriend in New York City. He is tired of her late night partying with friends and basically kicks her out of the apartment. Imagine that, kicking Anne Hathaway out of the apartment. She moves back to a small town in upstate New York where she is quickly reunited with Oscar, played by Jason Sudeikis. He has taken over the local bar that his father owned in town. So it is a perfect fit for Gloria to continue hitting the bottle. After a few nights back in town, news breaks that a giant monster has attacked Seoul, South Korea. News reports show the attacks, and the effects here, Matt, are done in a funny 1970s kind of way. Just when I thought the film was starting to sputter, it takes a shocking and hilarious turn. Little old Gloria in upstate New York actually has something to do with the monster attacking Korea. When Jason Sudeikis' character discovers this, something even stranger takes place. A giant robot appears in the same streets of Seoul. Writer-director Nacho Vigalondo gives us one of the most creative screenplays this year. There were actually times I thought this was going to be utterly brilliant, connecting these fantastical and hilarious images with two people fighting their inner demons. However, the message was not so clear. The ending really does not have that positive of a message. I did have a lot of fun with it, and if you are way sick of the norm here and looking for something completely different, I highly recommend Colossal.
Sounds pretty great. Did you have a favorite scene in particular?
Oh, calm down with your enthusiasm.
Yeah, holy cow.
Sorry, trying to bring the happiness and the liveliness.
Favorite scene here, you have Anne Hathaway and Sudeikis when they realize that they are connected to the giant monster and robot. And it is a moment where it's laugh out loud funny. There's no doubt. And I don't want to spoil, but I think most people, if you've seen the trailer or seen the poster even, it's not a giveaway of what I'm really talking about. But it's a moment when the characters realize what's going on and they begin to have sort of fun with it for about a 5-minute scene. It's just absolutely hysterical. Loved it.
Any scenes you had trouble with?
There's this one moment near the end of the film where Sudeikis is telling this long story and his character is just... he's just like butthurt about, things not working out for him in life. And he pulls out this firework and he's inside the bar that he owns. And it's a long, drawn out scene. And he basically is going to conclude it by lighting off this firework inside the bar. And it
will like burn it down?
Yeah, it does start a fire, but the fire is like the old school, almost, you remember when in Indiana Jones when they burn down the bar and it really looks like there's just fire in certain areas of the bar? It's done in that way. So the firework goes off and a couple of things light on fire.
Controlled pyrotechnics, yeah.
Exactly. Perfect way to sum it up. Controlled. And that's the key word, controlled fire going on here. And it is just, it fizzled, It meant to be this like big moment. And I don't know what the point exactly that his character was trying to make lighting this firework off in the bar. It didn't work for me.
Mm-hmm. I know you saw Kong recently. Do you see any movie influences? I'm guessing.
We used to do Parents on the show every once in a while. This was one of my claim to fame before I even started Cinemajaw was if this movie had parents, they would be. And so I did Parents for this movie. It would be Godzilla and Barfly.
Wow. Those are two great parents.
Yes. There's some influences for you right there.
Did you learn anything from this movie?
I like that Anne Hathaway is taking risks. This is a bizarre script, I'm sure, to have read.
She needs to.
Yes, I agree. I had read some interview somewhere where she was, I think it was one of those Yahoo interviews. And I don't know how much stock you can put into those things, but the headline was like, Anne Hathaway talks about why everybody hates her. But I think there is she probably feels it a little bit too, this sort of like animosity towards her.
Yeah, some serious backlash. I got to admit, I got caught up in it as well. I don't really like her.
You drink the Kool-Aid on everything, so I'm sure you were like,
No, it was
everybody hates Anne Hathaway, so I'm going to hate Anne Hathaway.
it was Catwoman that did it for me. Sorry.
But I think she did feel some backlash, so I think it's good that she's taking some risks, and that's what I learned. She's out. She's out there.
All right. What would be your movie poster quote?
My movie poster quote is a monstrous creative time.
That's good.
That's a good quote.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm giving this 3 Jaws for Colossal. Like I say, something completely different. I think you'll laugh. Just misses the mark to be something really special, but 3 Jaws.
Cool.
Yeah. Now, this is a big week here, Matt.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Because we had mentioned that we were going to do a movie pick of the month, and we were always going to select it on one of the 2 major streaming formats, either Amazon Prime or Netflix. So that way the majority of people can watch and
Don't
play
forget
along.
Hulu, right?
And Hulu. I'll count Hulu. in there.
Crackle?
No, we're not watching commercials. Even though I think the
Voodoo.
Voodoo.
There you go. Yeah.
But the main point is that we want to do something that has the
Potential to reach a wide audience.
Exactly. And because Emma Watson was just in Beauty and the Beast and also about to be in The Circle, we picked
Colonia. Emma Watson and Daniel Bruhl have been making big names for themselves lately. Could their respective star power be brought to bear in the self-described historical romantic thriller Colonia? For April's Cinemajaw Movie Club, we went to the stream to check out this under-the-radar film and find out.
You can't see because your eyes are blind. You can't feel because their hearts are made of stone. Lord Almighty.
Come on!
Lord Almighty! Open the doors. Open the door! Rise! Rise!
Based on historical events, Colonia tells the story of Daniel and Lena, a young couple who became entangled in the Chilean military coup. When Daniel is abducted by secret police, Lena tracks him to a sealed-off organization called Colonia Dignidad, where she joins up to rescue her boyfriend, only to learn it is a cult from which no one has ever escaped. Dun, dun, dun. Don't let the poster quote, Oscar-winning director, mislead you. I think the marketing team needed every bullet at their disposal to promote this, what is ultimately a bit of a squib. German director Florian Gallenberger won the Oscar in 2001 for Best Live-Action Short. By no means am I reducing that accomplishment, but I did feel its inclusion on the poster was purposely misrepresentative. He does a fine job here establishing a look and feel and tone. A fine job, I say, but not outstanding. Also, only marginally outstanding in this movie is the acting. Michael Nyqvist, who you may remember as the male protagonist Bloomquist from the original, not the American, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series, is wonderful as the cult leader and villain Paul Pius Schaefer. And I got to admit, when I first heard the name, I giggled and thought that David Letterman's band was going to come out. But this Schaefer was a real-life pedophile and cult leader who abused and tortured hundreds of people, not the happy guy we saw on the Late Night Show. And it's a chilling performance that I thoroughly enjoyed. Nyquist is great and has a real screen presence, but unfortunately he's given little to chew on here. Daniel Bruhl is equally adequate as the mostly secondary character who I call the boyfriend that sets the plot in motion. However, Emma Watson once again steals the show. Her acting saves this film from being a completely steaming pile. Where I think this film fails is that it just stops short of being anything in particular. If meant to highlight an overlooked bit of history or expose the audience to the inner workings of a cult, then fail, I say. If meant to be a romance, fail. If meant to be a triumph of the human spirit in the face of captivity, fail. It sets too many goals, and thus the story feels a little messy and convoluted. There's another character worth noting who's the female head of the cult, and also / senior victim, played by Richenda Carey, who could have been a pivotal character and a vehicle for this film to say something. Sadly, nothing much comes of her character. In fact, nothing much comes of this film at all, and it winds up feeling somewhat limp. Watch it for the performances, I guess, because the actors are noteworthy. Otherwise, skip it.
Wow, you are hard on this one. I actually liked it, I think, a little bit more than you.
Here we go.
I didn't love it, but I think I liked it a little bit more than you. The subject matter. I had never heard of
True.
I never heard of this at all.
Never heard of it.
And it was one of these films that once it finished, I ended up Wikipediaing right away because I was like, what was going on with all this? So that was very interesting.
And even the Wikipedia is boring.
It's okay. But I will say, and I also get sort of freaked out and scared when there's moments of you're in a cult, you're trapped, you're in a foreign country. It seems so bleak that they would ever get out. I loved all that. I thought Emma Watson. I thought I didn't like her in this particular role.
Why?
No, I thought she was like miscast. I don't know. She was just sort of Emma Watson in the role. There was no character to her. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. They didn't give her anything. I thought she did a fine job with what she had.
And you said messy, completely messy, because I think what it is I think a lot of the actors weren't exactly sure what kind of movie they were making here. I think Daniel Burl and Emma Watson thought they were making a historical drama and romance in the beginning, and that Michael Nyquist and the actress who I also highlighted, I thought she was awesome. How'd you say her name? Rachenda Carey. Yes, she and Michael Nyquist were making almost like a over the top psychological horror film. They were freaky in there, but it didn't really fit like the drama of it all. But I was freaked out by Nyquist. There's a couple of scenes in there where he is just terrifying.
Agreed. But then nothing comes to fruition, right? He is terrifying. He's got this great screen presence, like I said, but then nothing really happens. There's a scene where maybe something could have happened between him. I mean, this is a historical, so I'm not ruining anything, between him and some younger members of the cult, let's say. But we never really.
They're young boys.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. But they never really say like anything happened.
It's implied.
It's way too implied. And trust me, I like when they appreciate our intelligence and don't just spell everything out and show everything. I'm not looking for gore, but nothing really came out of this film. It didn't get anywhere.
Yeah, I wrote my last line was that it was interesting, scary, but ultimately a sloppy film, but that I ended up enjoying it. I ended up thinking this was slightly recommendable. That's how I felt. I wasn't going to be as hard on it as you were. Now, it should be mentioned, we threw it over to Andrew. We said, hey, if you want to, this is our movie pick of the month, if you have time. So you did start this film.
Yeah, I got halfway through it. I got exactly to the shot you were just talking about where he may or may not have. Well, he definitely did.
He did.
He
does,
did.
yeah.
He
touched them little boys.
Yeah, he touched some little boys. But yeah, I have a lot of questions, and since you guys have seen it all the way through, I'm kind of curious. Why was the cult sanctioned by the government? Like, what was that about?
Okay, so again, in this historical film, so I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything. It was sort of a testing grounds and / interrogation place for the secret police of the Chilean military who overthrew the government.
Right at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, so he had ties with the secret police, and they pretty much funded him and allowed him to exist for decades.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those, as I was reading about it, people just didn't really know exactly what was going on there. It was almost like, let's turn a blind eye to this camp. It wasn't like it was in the forefront all that often. So some really weird stuff was going on at the camp. We're talking human experiments. And these are, this Paul Schaefer that you spoke of was actually a Nazi officer that fled Germany right at the end of World War II.
Oh, okay.
And then continued on doing these experiments that we see on like Daniel Burrow with
electrodes.
Yeah,
right.
That was pretty freaky.
Oh yeah.
But it was odd because that Daniel Burrow, his character had to almost act like he was affected by all this like, you know.
Right, that was his camouflage. That's how he acted like he was like almost lobotomized by this torture
right.
to avoid suspicion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which was, I thought, kind of clever. That was like probably the most clever thing in the whole movie.
Right. I think they just tried to capture too much because they had those elements that were almost like a Shutter Island type deal, you know, almost like you don't know what to believe going on there. You had the historical drama, and then you had this just flat out creepy cult thing going
so
on.
creepy. I mean, that took over the film for me. You know, like I forgot about the coup and their relationship, and I was just like, why is this a thing? Yeah,
and nothing comes to fruition. We don't get satisfactory payoff on any of the relationships, in my opinion. Like where did this guy come from? Yes, he was a Nazi officer. What's his relationship with this female head of all the women? Like, how did that whole thing come? They sort of imply at one point that they may have had a kid together, who's another one of the side characters, but they never really tell you if that's the case. I don't know.
The boyfriend who was like pretending he was lobotomized, he was pretending. Like they show that was a thing. Okay.
Yes.
Because I was still at the point of the movie where like they were cutting to him just like randomly laughing and stuff, so I didn't see him like do his
he drops
his
the
term.
mask.
Yeah.
And he does, and obviously
Kaiser Sose.
Yeah, obviously there's an attempt here by him and Emma Watson to escape, and that's a whole nother issue of the film because it is somewhat of an escape film as well. So then you have that whole element as well. I think it was trying to do way too much and not just concentrate on maybe the historical drama. I think that would have been fascinating.
You know what would have fixed this film? A Mission Impossible style montage.
Yes.
Like a planning session where they're like, okay, there's tripwires here. We got to drop down this ceiling and don't touch the floor, that kind of thing.
I think that needs to be in every movie. I mean,
agree.
people sitting around talking about how there's no way to get out, and then they just do. Yeah, those are the best kind of montages.
All right, a lot of negativity going on here. Any particular scenes you had trouble with?
Well, starting with the worst scene, and this was, early on, and I know, and I feel terrible telling Elias this because you have not seen the movie. And
And he's trapped in the jaw box. I mean, have a little heart.
He loves Emma Watson, but early on there is love scenes between her and Daniel Burrow where you're supposed to really, in about a 5-minute moment on film, believe that these two are lovers, so much so that she would actually pretend to be a nun and join this cult to get him out. So you really got to believe that they're in love.
Star-crossed lovers, yeah.
I thought the love scenes in the beginning were cringeworthy. I hated it. I thought, this is going to be awful. So I didn't like that. And the only other really bad moment was when she was faking taking the pills, which I think was pretty evident to everyone except the characters in the film. They had to play that a little bit better. It's like...
Yeah, I agree. And
That was
plus,
so
that's such a
dumb.
stupid trope. Like, how many
is.
times have we seen the patients in a line and they hand out the pill and
they don't take the pill.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I hated that scene.
First of all, I disagree completely about the romance. I loved it. Swept off my feet.
That's because they show that Daniel Burrow's bottom.
Yeah, I wish the whole movie continued.
Delicious.
Did you confuse it at first for Emma's bottom?
No.
I think we all did.
If I had trouble with any scene, I would say the editing. It's not one particular scene, but the editing in this film is terrible. And I said it before. It's not that I wanted to see gore, but I would have liked to have seen something come to fruition, which didn't happen.
Okay. How about any favorite scenes? Is that such a thing?
I see. This is where I would say I liked the movie a little bit more than Matt. I could pick about 4 or 5 that were sort of riveting, actually. One was right when the coup was taking place, and they decided to go out and photograph it, and they get captured. And these military police round up all these people and bring them to a
It's like a
stadium.
stadium, yeah.
And it's freaky because it's at night and they just got some floodlights on and they rounded up all these people. And it's like they're, for us at, say, Soldier Field or somewhere, they're all out on the field. And the one leader of them all is just wearing that like bag mask.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just picking people out that he thinks were, instigators and troublemakers. A couple of them are just shot right there on the field. I felt the fear. I thought, oh my God, that would be terrifying.
That was a good moment.
That was really good. And then, as we were mentioning, that Michael Nyquist inside the camp had a couple of super strong moments where it was like, oh, he gave me the willies watching it.
He's great. I agree. I like when he has his belly hanging out and he's just sitting in the chair. He's good. One scene in particular that I liked was when his character Pius finally hits the head of the female house. Gisela, is that her name? She kind of deserves it, so she's getting her comeuppance in the scene. So it was satisfying as a viewer to just watch her get a little bit of what she had dished out.
But that was really creepy and really well done. That was one of my favorite scenes also because the shot that we were talking about is she walks out into the hallway, so we don't actually physically see him smack the older lady.
Yeah, you just hear him say "glasses off."
Yeah. And it's like, oh, the idea of an older lady getting punched and then kicked is weird already.
Right. She's got to be like 60 something,
Yeah,
right?
it was crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
The off-camera brutality was just insane in a lot of scenes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump to movie influences.
Weird choice here, but there was a movie called Red Corner with Richard Gere, where he gets in trouble while he's in China. It's more of a court drama, and he's facing their law system. But it, again, being trapped in a country that you're...
Stranger in a strange land.
Yeah, and then also with the cult feel, Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene with Elizabeth Olsen. I love that cult feel of it all.
Yeah. If I had to pick one, I would say The Village.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the only one I got.
Yeah. Influence?
I mean, I didn't finish it, so for all I know, it goes all John Carpenter, you know, like from the moment I stopped watching. But yeah, I really don't have anything that comes to mind.
Well, so Rye, I know you went to the Wikipedia page, but was there anything else you learned from this movie?
It would be that I was sort of shocked, and something that I didn't know about how many of these Nazi generals fled to get away from war crime trials.
And mostly South America, too.
And they went to South America, and they flooded Chile. I had no idea any of this really happened.
Argentina, too.
Yeah, and people couldn't track these soldiers down, and you know, it was crazy. Yeah.
It is. I learned, I'm coining a new term. It's the zookeeper's wife syndrome. And this film suffers from the zookeeper's wife syndrome. It's an important bit of history, but told in a blasé and banal way. So, like, it's just limp.
Is that your
what I
movie
learned.
poster quote too, Limp?
No, I picked a different one word, so this could go both ways. Mediocre.
Ooh. I went messy, but keeps your interest. I finished it easily. I was into it enough, even though I could see that it was messy and it wasn't a perfect film by any means. I somewhat enjoyed it. At the very end of the day, I would say, give it a spin.
All right, did we give grades yet? What are you giving it, Rye?
I'm going 2 jaws.
1 jaw.
Wow.
Full jaw below me.
Yeah, this just listen, with all the great stuff, and there's a lot of stuff out there right now. I mean, there's just so much content. This is not worth your time. It's,
I wouldn't say that.
That's too bad because we made the Jawheads watch it at a movie club.
I apologize. I mean, I like Daniel Bruhl and I like Emma Watson and Nyquist. He's great. So if you're into these actors, maybe it gets another half jaw for that. But otherwise, it's the plot just falls.
I think Matt's being a little harsh on it. I think 2 jaws. I don't think it's anything great. But if you want to chime in, if you've seen it, write us feedback@cinemajaw.com. We'll read your comments. If you liked it, if you disliked it, whatever you say, we'll read it on the next podcast. How's that sound?
Yeah. I can't wait to hear what the Jawheads think.
Yes.
I really can't.
Good stuff. But they do make an escape in this film, and that is our topic this week.
Yes.
Our top 5 favorite escape films. Andrew, you're getting us started, and tell us, did you have any difficulty with the list? Was it a fun list to come up with?
Oh, it was a super fun list to come up with. I came up with 2 lists.
Really?
Yeah, I was telling you guys before we started. My first list was I kind of chose a bunch of movies where they stayed in the location and like sent people off because I kind of like got that in my head. Like a lot of movies that I love just do that.
Like siege movies. Yeah.
Siege movies, I guess it would have been. So I have a new list.
And should be noted that we talked about this because I'm sure listeners are thinking right away, Shawshank Redemption. We would all think Shawshank. So let's make it a little challenging on ourselves and not have Shawshank at number 1.
It's our honorary number 1.
It's our honorary. So
Okay.
none of us have Shawshank Redemption on our list.
I just have that 5 times.
Just 5 times for Andrew. You're getting us started. What do you got sitting at 5?
Okay, well, at first I was going to do the word escape in every movie, but it's just going to be my number 5, Escape from New York.
I'm so glad this is on your list.
Good.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's weird how bad Escape from LA is and how much I enjoy Escape from New York.
I mean, John Carpenter at his absolute best when he was young, you know? Snake Plissken.
Had the energy to like score his own movies too. Yeah.
Haven't seen it in a long time, but a classic.
Oh, absolute classic.
Yeah. Can I go next, or do you want to?
No, go for it.
Oh, thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Swings it over to my number 5, and I thought, why not start this list off with a little animation?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When you're talking escape films, really none better in the animated field than the 2000 film Chicken Run.
Also on my list.
Is it really?
It is.
Wow.
Want to talk about it more when we get to it on?
No, I'd rather talk about it right now. This is Aardman Animation's first feature film, and really, it's the setup here is that these chickens try to escape from a farm that seems more of like a prisoner for war camp escape type film.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Nick Park's a genius. First of all, let's just say that Wallace and Gromit are great.
Yep.
But this is a harrowing story. It's almost like really reminiscent of the detention camps of World War II, like a concentration camp almost.
It is. And the chickens find out that the farm that they are on is turning to make chicken pot pies, and so they have to make a run for it. Very great. I mean, the animation is fantastic.
Painstaking stop motion animation, claymation, and this was so long ago. Well, I guess it wasn't that long ago. 2000. But I mean, I don't think there were a lot of digital effects in it, so it's mostly hand animated and 3D clay actual things that were there. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
All right, what do you got sitting at 5?
At number 5, I had a tie, but because you knocked Chicken Run off my list, I guess I might as well split them up. So at number 5, I will pick Logan's Run.
Ooh.
First of all, this is quintessential 1970s sci-fi. It doesn't get any better than this. And in fact, I think just about every action sci-fi movie that came subsequent to this points it's at least a little bit to Logan's Run. Everybody dies when they turn 30, and the cop that enforces that is a guy named Logan, and once you know it, his number gets punched, he's 30, and what does he decide to do? Run.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? And so they're in this utopian society, and they wear very little, and it's great. It's just great.
I should see this one.
You've never seen Logan's Run?
Never seen it.
Oh, classic, dude.
I think you've talked about this numerous times, and that's why I've stayed away.
Dude, do yourself a favor. You know those like laser graphics effects that
Yeah.
they're using now in a lot of things? It's like retro and cool again. I think you may have even used them in the Street Wizard a little bit.
Totally did.
They come from Logan's Run. I mean, that's where this started. So go see Logan's Run.
You agree with this pick?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I didn't even think of it, though.
It's totally escape.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're off to a good start here.
Thank you.
Andrew, what do you got sitting at 4?
Okay, at 4, I was actually admiring your little print you have of it in the hallway, but The Warriors. Both of them.
Wow.
Yeah. I got 2 Escape from New York-ish movies.
That's an awesome pick, too.
Yeah.
And totally not a movie that I would say is an escape movie, but as soon as you mention it, yes, absolutely. They are trying to get out of
one
out of
island to the
city.
next. Yeah.
Holy cow. I just love when the DJ comes on in that movie and she's giving the requests out, and she's like, this one goes for the Warriors. It's the best.
That's such a good scene. The whole like Warriors.
Yep.
Come. Yeah. If I had bottles, I would click them. To say that.
We'll put it in right here.
Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play.
Warriors.
Love it. That's awesome.
Classic movie.
Yeah, totally. Good pick. I like it. Swings it over to my number 4, and this is probably the film that is going to be least recognizable, I think, on my list. And it has some heavy hitters. It has Russell Crowe in it, Elizabeth Banks, and also Liam Neeson. Came out in 2010. It's directed and written by Paul Haggis, who did Crash. The movie is called The Next 3 Days. Anyone?
No.
I know.
Crickets.
Elizabeth Banks, like
Yeah.
from Power Rangers.
Right. Elizabeth Banks, Russell
Best
Crowe.
Picture winner director.
Yeah, right. It's got some pedigree here. And here's the premise: is that Russell Crowe and Elizabeth Banks are married, and Elizabeth Banks is tried and convicted of killing her boss. And all things point to that she did murder her boss. But Russell Crowe, her husband, doesn't believe that she is
She claims
that
innocence.
she is guilty. Right.
Okay.
So he turns to Liam Neeson, who is an ex-convict who broke out of prison.
Oh, there's a
something
great
like
idea.
7 times, right? And he sets Russell Crowe up with plans to get his wife out of prison. Oh. And this is the whole movie. And then basically he breaks her out of prison and they're on the run. And that's the whole film right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see that.
Yeah. What was it called again?
It's called The Next 3 Days. I recommend it.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. I looked at today as I was doing my research. This one popped into my head right away. And saw it, and it's only like somewhere between like 50 and 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's worth a spin. So, The Next 3 Days.
All right. That swings it over to my number 4. And I did mention I had Chicken Run here, but if I had to sub it out Before Star Wars, George Lucas gave us THX 1138. You never seen this?
No.
Okay, I guarantee you've seen at least a tiny part of it. Have you ever seen the music video for? It's 9 Inch Nails from the '90s. I want to say it's not Closer, but it starts out with this cop
Throw it in the
a
jaw box.
Yeah. Okay. Which 9 Inch Nails song sampled this? But it starts. You hear somebody getting beaten, and it gets faster and faster. And that's from this film. It's a dystopian future, very much the opposite of Logan's Run, where everything was great and you could screw whoever you wanted in Logan's Run. Total opposite. Sex has been abolished. Love has been abolished. Everybody's on medication, so their like hormones are suppressed, and they're basically like automatons. And to the point where the police are these like crazy faceless robots with like silver faces. And it's Robert Duvall, very young Robert Duvall, trying to escape from this dystopian society. And it's everything we loved about George Lucas before he made the prequels. Like it's really him at his like American Graffiti best.
Man,
it's a good movie.
Really
It's-
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made this, I believe, this was a student film that he then turned into a feature-length film. I believe that's how it started. Throw that in the jaw box.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, if THX 1138. And 1138 THX pops up all the time in the Star Wars universe also.
Yes.
References to 1138 and so forth. And obviously we know THX surround sound. So
I can't believe I've heard of this movie.
It
sounds like you guys are just like making a movie that I like written for me.
When you see it, dude, it's gonna blow your mind. I swear to God.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's really
I might
old.
go watch it tonight.
It's really old, 1971. So just bear that in mind. But I think a lot of it holds up.
I do too. I've seen it recently. When I say recently, I'm saying within the last 10 years now, but still held up. I liked it. So
Yeah,
Big fan.
Donald Pleasant's in it as well. Speaking of John Carpenter, he's the Dr. Loomis from the Halloween films.
Oh, gotcha.
So
All right.
comes full circle.
good pick, Matthew.
Thank you.
All right. We're into our threes, Andrew.
Into threes. Okay, so it's kind of I'm afraid to bring it up with all the hatred to Thor that was out there.
Hey,
a second
I love
ago.
Thor. Just
Okay,
let,
right,
let
so
it be known.
Of course you do.
I just don't want to start any more fights.
No, please do.
But same director, The Hunt for the Wilder People.
I've seen this. Yes. This is a good one.
Yeah, it's about a little kid who's gone through the foster care program in New Zealand, and he's been kicked out of so many houses that he's after this it's juvie. And for whatever reason, he decides to run away from home with his uncle, I believe.
Yep.
I guess.
Played by Liam Neeson. Well, it's like his foster uncle.
Liam Neeson?
Not Liam Neeson. Sam Neill.
Sam Neill.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sam Neill. Got Liam Neeson on the mind. Sam Neill. Well, I guess it's like his father. It was about to be his foster father.
Exactly,
Is what
yeah.
it would have been. Yeah.
And they run through the New Zealand brush away from the authorities for the entire movie, and they live out there for like a year. And it's just so much fun and very heartfelt. It's a pretty fun movie.
Yeah, it really does turn into this sort of like movie out in the wilderness, and it doesn't at first. It's
Right.
really about this like kid trying to maybe fit in with a foster family. It takes a 180, and these two are out on the run out in the wilderness. It's pretty
yeah.
wild.
Hard 180.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice pick.
And that's the same director as which movie?
The new Thor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I can't pronounce his name. I have it written down here.
some of the cast is actually of the Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yep.
Is in the new Thor movie.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's
wow.
awesome.
Look at okay, Matt. Wow, that's great.
Just putting that out there. So that brings
that brings it to my number.
I'm sorry,
three,
we're going
Jack. Yes. Yeah,
counterclockwise.
that's right.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. My number 3, we're going into the 70s here. 1979, we have a young Clint Eastwood stars in Escape from Alcatraz. Did I steal your number 1, Matt?
No.
All right. Clint Eastwood stars as his name in the movie is Frank Morris, and this is based on the true story of Frank Morris and 2 other inmates are the only 3 people to ever escape from Alcatraz. Now, did they survive?
That's the question.
That's the question. Unsolved mystery.
Although the MythBusters did recreate this, and they got to the banks, they got to shore safely.
They did?
Yeah, in the raincoat boats. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Number 1, I think what's so fascinating about this is there's always been this sort of mythical lore of Alcatraz that nobody could get out.
Yeah.
I saw this movie. My dad was a big Clint Eastwood fan, so I know I saw this when I was a kid growing up. And then as an adult, I finally made my way out to San Francisco and did the tour of Alcatraz. And I was pumped right away because it's like, oh, they actually still have the cells when they escaped, they actually kept them as is, and they just put glass over where they dug out of.
It's like a museum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And pretty neat. And so then I was like all enthralled to watch the movie again. I got to go watch that Escape from Alcatraz. So I watched it again, and I just ate it up. It's a kind of story where you wonder, did they actually survive?
I like to think they did.
I like to think that they did too. I mean, no bodies were found, even though those
Right.
are choppy waters right there. But I don't know. I think they would have found.
That kind of gives them an alibi, though, doesn't it? You know, they got away because, nobody could have survived that. Who knows? I hope they survive.
If you haven't seen it, this is one of the better younger Clint Eastwood movies that isn't a Western. That's what I would say about
Yeah,
that.
well said.
So check it out, Escape from Alcatraz.
Having been there, do you think you could have made it back? Made it to shore?
Probably no chance. I was scared on the boat just going out there.
It's pretty choppy. Yeah.
That bay gets pretty choppy, man. Yeah.
And
I've never been.
it's always windy and sort of cold out there. So I think the waters are cold. It's choppy. You're on this boat. It's like, oh my God, I would have never attempted it.
There's like whirlpools, just like because of all the cross currents and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of treacherous waters.
Man.
Yeah.
Definitely not. You don't want to be swimming in there.
Right.
Yeah. All right, that brings us over to my number 3. And here's the thing. This is going to be an unconventional pick, and probably Ryan's going to give me crap. But escape isn't always just getting out of
Here he goes.
of a literal prison, right? Sometimes it's getting out of a figurative prison or even a mental prison. And I think no film exemplifies the freedom we get from school when we skip better than Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Did I steal one of yours?
Well, that was my safety. I
Okay,
figured
good.
one else would get saved and I'd move that in, but I agree 100%.
It's really about escaping the prison that is high school. When and he says it perfectly right in the first few minutes of the film. How can one be expected to go to school on a day like this? When they just show the beautiful sun and they go to this amazing city that we happen to live in here and have this great day, baseball games, museums, and they have way more learning and culture in that one day of escape than they would have if they sat in that prison cell of a classroom listening to Ben Stein talk about economics.
Preach. Yeah.
So I think this movie just exemplifies what escape means to the youth, to the kids.
Couldn't agree more.
Thank you.
I give that one to you.
Thank you.
It's a nice pick, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Still going to win the argument. Can't wait to get to that part.
All right. Now we're into our 2s. Andrew.
Man, so I assumed this one was going to get said by now, but for my number 2, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I'm so shocked it wasn't said. That's why I added Ferris Bueller to my list
As a safety,
because
yeah.
I was like, someone's going to say that way early on. No one?
It's not on my list.
Does he actually? I guess I never considered it an escape movie, but you're absolutely right. It is.
Well, yeah, it's all about him and the other character's Chief, right? And it's all about them planning an escape, and then he gets out and comes back, and they throw that party or whatever. But like, the whole, it was all about planning one at least.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 2, what's weird doing Colonia was the idea that she goes into the cult volunteering, and he comes in saying that he's insane when he's not insane. Somewhat of the same element, and then tries to get out of the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bit of a parallel.
Yeah, a little bit.
Bit of a stretch.
I love One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, though. I mean, and
come on.
I mean, Danny DeVito. I mean, the cast in there is fantastic. Yeah, he's in there.
DeVito?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's a young
Man,
Danny
I haven't seen
DeVito.
it in a long, long time.
I've seen it like parodied more than I've ever seen it. I feel like so many like Simpsons, Family Guy have done the scene where he's throwing the trash can.
I guess last time I saw it, I was like 12, 13. It's been a long time.
Oh, one of my favorites. Nice pick at number 2. Swings it to mine. And this one probably, I don't think, jumps out to everybody when you say escape movie. But if you think about it, and once I say it, you'll agree with me, especially the ending of this film. Came out in 2012, won the Best Picture of the year, directed by one Ben Affleck. I'm speaking of Argo.
No, I'll give it to you. That's an escape film.
It is an escape film.
Yeah.
And this is telling the story of how the CIA posed as a Hollywood film crew to get 6 U.S. diplomats out of Iran. So there's the escape.
You could say rescue is more of an escape, but I'll give it to you.
Yeah, well, you know what it is, too, is once they're inside, because the rescue basically
Then needs to escape.
then needs to escape.
Right.
So Ben Affleck gets in acting like the Hollywood crew and gets them all to act the same. But then all of them got to work as a team to try to get out. And when you're talking escape, and many of these movies that we're mentioning have a key moment that's very tense. the ending of Argo when they're on the airplane and the Iran officials are figuring out exactly what is happening here, and they're trying to get to the airport to stop it. The pacing and the editing of that story is told perfectly. I remember my palms were sweating watching it, and that's good storytelling.
Argo is everything that Colonia is not.
Yes.
Yeah, the pacing is perfect. The editing is amazing. Agreed.
My number 2, Argo.
All right. As big of a shift as possible from Ferris Bueller to this next film, but it's also kind of more about a prison of the mind. Life is Beautiful. And
This is barely a bell.
really?
Yeah.
I won't belabor this because I feel like I probably talked about this film too many times, like Fatherhood, I think we did recently. But what the escape is, so he knows that his situation is hopeless inside the concentration camps, but he can provide an escape to his son by playing these games and preserve his innocence. So in a way, that's the escape. It's this mental escape of his son and how he sort of saves him from the trauma of living in a concentration camp.
Right.
No?
We were going for escape films.
No,
this is a bit of a stretch.
It's not. Doesn't have to be literal,
yeah, but
dude.
I know, but here's the thing: if you were going to do a stretch for a film that you don't normally talk about, okay. But this has come up quite a bit, and you're stretching to get there.
All right, that's fair. How about Running Man instead? There you go.
Love that one. Great pick, Matt K.
Was that just a sub in, or was that your next one?
That's a sub in.
I tried so desperately to find one that was like that, like wasn't really an escape, but like if you think about it, it was. And all of mine are just flat out people running.
Same here.
Yeah.
That's what you want. That's what Running Man is. We'll put that at number 2.
All right, fine.
Yeah. Good stuff.
It's a tie.
All right. Here we are. Our number ones. Andrew, you're leading us off. Your number 1 escape film is.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Nice.
Pretty simple. American Odyssey. Great soundtrack. Coen Brothers. Yeah.
Can't argue that, man. Yeah, just wow.
I mean, most of the movie they're in the classic like striped jail costume is pretty
George Clooney.
George Clooney's awesome in that. The entire cast is fantastic. Oh man, brain fart. Dan from Roseanne. John Goodman.
Yes. Yeah.
His cameo. The whole thing. Wow, I haven't seen that in like too long, but I used to watch it like almost every day.
Yeah, I used to listen to A Man of Constant Sorrow like all the time. It was just like in my YouTube like recent videos, so I would just pop that on.
That's one I think I gotta revisit it.
Nice pick at number 1.
That is a good number 1.
Swings it over to my number 1. I went old school with mine.
Okay.
And there were 2 that I was going in between.
Life is Beautiful, right?
And I decided to go with 1963. You know where I'm going here? Oh. Steve McQueen in The Great Escape. And not only Steve McQueen, James Gardner, and Richard Attenborough. And it tells.
I've never seen it. Seen it.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Really?
Tells the story of one of the biggest escapes from a POW camp during World War II. 79 soldiers got out. They basically dug tunnels, had ventilation down there. Just super fascinating. But what's weird is telling their story is 79 escaped, and I was reading the facts. Almost all were recaptured. So they did get out, but once they caught what was going on, they sent out search parties. Almost all were recaptured. Most were shot dead. Out of the 79 that did escape, only 3 actually got away.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, at the beginning of the movie, there's a couple of POWs who were talking about the last escapes they did. Mm-hmm. You know, like this is just like an endless cycle of escaping and coming back. And wasn't that what the inspiration for, was it Logan's Heroes?
Right.
Was?
Yeah, totally. And it has, Steve McQueen. Just the best.
Just throwing that baseball.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The Great Escape. It has escape in the title, Matt. So see it.
Oh, so that's how you know it's an escape movie.
I hate when we leave the last number 1 to you. So what do you got, buddy?
Okay, so we all agreed at the top that Shawshank Redemption would be our number 1.
Yeah.
If left to our own devices. So what movie can stand up to that caliber of picture as Shawshank? And really, in my opinion, there's only one. Room. You're not going to ding.
Barely a bell.
Are you kidding me? You've got to be insane right now.
I love the movie, but I mean, it's not a number 1.
It's not a number 1 escape movie. Room. I mean, when the kid is rolled up in the carpet and he's hanging out the back of a pickup truck, I couldn't breathe, man. I mean, talk about a tense escape scene. You got to be joking right now.
I do love that escape scene, but the movie is about so much more than the escape.
No.
So the escape is like a great 15-minute moment in the movie. That's
Absolutely
why I wouldn't say.
not. No,
That's why I'm saying
it's
not an
about
escape film.
escaping more than. Again, it's not just the physical prison of room, right? This 15 by 15 shed that they were stuck in. They even after they get out of room are still stuck inside the prison.
They're
and
still trapped.
They're dealing with the demons. That's what they need to escape from.
But
more
they
than
never
anything
do
else.
escape.
They do to a certain degree. They also come to terms with them and just they escape in each other. You know, it's a great story, man. It's absolutely about escaping, and I can't believe you hesitated on ringing that bell. Sometimes I wish I had that freaking bell.
You're never getting this bell.
You're so wrong.
I thought you were going Cool Hand Luke, maybe.
He's pandering by picking all these classic movies, Escape out from Alcatraz and The Great Escape. Come on, man.
Cool Hand Luke.
The Room, relevant, new. It's a great movie, and it's up there with Shawshank.
Okay, relevant, new, sci-fi. I'm talking Snowpiercer. Was it escape movie? Yeah, they're trying to get out of.
Sure. I agree with that.
Okay,
If you had that at a number 5 or something, I would say kudos.
I also had, look at this, I had also listed as an honorable mention, Room.
Thank you.
Hey.
Honorable mention.
Might have been the
ass.
anxiety of that argument
Yes.
that I was feeling, but what popped in my head while you guys were doing that was a Green Room. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
That should have been on my list.
That
Yeah,
was
it
an escape movie.
Yeah, it
totally.
was.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
I also put down 10 Cloverfield Lane,
Another
Oh,
good
yeah,
pick.
yeah.
which was good.
Cube, I bring up a lot. I think everybody should see that.
I did see
The
it.
Jim Henson?
No,
Oh.
no, it's this weird horror sci-fi movie where they're stuck in this cube with traps and they need to get out. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. Matt had talked about it enough where I finally saw it, and I was like,
This guy didn't like the Thor trailer though. So
yeah, so how can you trust it?
how do you trust him? Misery.
Misery.
Yeah,
Good
Misery,
one.
yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
I'm sure we missed some. Jawheads are listening to this, yelling.
They're trying to escape.
How the hell did he have Room at number 1?
Are
But
you
no,
kidding? Are you kidding?
we probably did miss one of their favorites. So if we did, and
Snakes on a Plane.
yeah, if you have not
the
bad.
classic one, yeah.
If you have Twitter pulled up, shoot us a tweet at Cinemajaw. We will retweet it, get the discussion going. What we're going to do is take a break, and when we come back, big time CinemaWAR looking at
Yes.
Thor plus trivia, fire movie trivia. We'll be right back on Cinemajaw.
Let's all go to the lobby.
Hey guys, just a reminder, C2E2 is coming up. That's the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo. And it's April 21st through the 23rd, and we're going to be there. So go to c2e2.com for your tickets, and we'll see you there. Hey, Elias, check out my new K&N Air Filters hat.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Wow, you look like super cool all of a sudden.
Oh, thanks, man. I got it at knnairfilters.com/podcast.
Are you saying KNN, like 2 N's in a row?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. Actually, it's knfilters.com/podcast.
Nice.
You can get yourself a new air filter for your car, which is going to make your car better, and they'll throw in a free hat.
Got it.
So that makes your head look better.
And we are back on Cinemajaw hanging out with Andrew Melzer from the Street Wizards Apprentice and the sketch group Muscular Clown. Matt, what was that big question that you were going to ask?
I don't know if it was a big question. I noticed this little tidbit in your bio that you're also in animation, and you've actually done some pilots, pitched them to Nickelodeon, among other places.
Yeah, Nickelodeon bought one of our pilots and we produced it with them. It's the Magic Hour, but it did not go to series. But yeah.
That's still an awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. So when you're writing, I asked this, we recently had an animator / live action director on like 2 episodes ago, and I asked him the same question. Is it more challenging, less challenging, just different to writing for live action versus animation? What are the differences in the writing?
Well, I think what one of the biggest differences between writing animation and writing, well, at least in the animation that I tend to write, I know there's others that would fit this bill, but like it has to be slightly less dialogue driven. Just because you're in the medium of animation, you're trying to do like kids animation. You want things to kind of like happen on screen as much. Whereas like you couldn't just do like a Clerks. You couldn't just have 2 characters standing there talking. I know there are some, but at least when I approach it, I try to like push the visuals, try to find humor in the visual language and the colors more so than I would if I was approaching just like a live action thing and I was trying to tell a story and have characters talk to give exposition a lot of times.
It's interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
And your web series, we want to remind the listeners, is out. The best place to watch it online is?
The Street Wizard Apprentice, or the streetwizardseries.com, or the Street Wizard Apprentice into YouTube. Also, this is coming out Monday.
It is.
Yeah, if you are free April 26th at 8 p.m., there's a screening at the Logan Theater.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, I love the Logan.
Oh, yeah, it's great. How many places can you just like bring your drink into the theater? It's perfect.
Yeah.
Alcoholic drink. I mean, obviously, most theaters,
You know,
drink a
it's,
soda.
it's getting more and more popular. I remember when we first started this podcast, it was like nowhere, but Logan is definitely one of the best theaters in the city.
Yeah, and
No doubt
it's a
about it.
block from my house. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice touch that they renovated it, but made it like retro style.
Yeah,
I like
classic.
It is.
Yeah.
Love it. So get out there and support the Street Wizard's Apprentice.
Do.
All right. Matt, before we get to trivia, before we get to CinemaWAR, we did throw a couple items into the job box. Let's get our Street Apprentice Wizard out of that job box. Let's open it up.
What's your pleasure, Mr. Cotton?
The box.
What's in the box?
How's it going, fellas? Thank you very much. Man, I can't believe Rye stole my bit at the top of this episode of trying to escape Cinemajaw.
Escape the job box? Was it me that stole it or
no,
Rob?
No, that was Rye.
No, I stole it.
Yeah, I can't believe it, you know?
He was always trying to escape in the early years. Now he just loves the job box. He's
Yeah,
comfortable.
exactly. Yeah, what is that?
It's his room.
Stockholm Syndrome? or
Yeah,
whatever?
It
Yeah.
is
You got it
Stockholm
bad.
Syndrome.
Yes. You know what? Let's dive right into the questions here because so that Nine Inch Nails song, like I was a big Nine Inch Nails fan and I like
Shocker.
heard it in my head, but I was like really young when around that time the album came out. And so I was always freaked out by that whipping. And I actually like just thought it was his actual sex tape or something like that.
Right? You don't put it past Trent Reznor.
Yeah, exactly. So I never knew, but eventually I got it in my head without looking it up. And then I confirmed it's Mr. Self-Destruct.
Yeah. That's a great tune, man. It is. I still love Nine Inch Nails. I know it's totally 90s, but I
I've
don't
seen
care.
him live one time at Lollapalooza, but I was never the biggest Nine Inch Nail fan.
So at the beginning, there's like a sampling from the movie that they
Yes.
use into the song?
Yes, at the very beginning of the song, you hear somebody being whipped or beaten. You
Okay.
hear the strikes, and then it just starts getting faster and faster, and then it goes right into the song, Mr. Self-Destruct. And that sample is from THX 1138.
I'm so excited to watch that.
So they made it faster, or did they? Is that the actual speed?
It starts off as like a
Right.
straight movie clip, but then Trent Reznor adds some effects and
Got
changes it, makes it faster and faster to lead into the song, get the
Got
rhythm
it.
going. Because it's almost like a rhythmic thing. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
So the second question was about THX 1138. Yes, that was developed from a student film that was titled Electronic Labyrinth THX 1138 4EB.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to give credit.
I'm glad he shortened the title a little bit.
But it is fascinating to think that Lucas made this as a student film, and then I think it was Francis Ford Coppola encouraged
Right.
him to flesh this out as a full feature film, and we got somewhat of a minor masterpiece.
Such an intense move to, as like a student, go for like a sci-fi epic.
Yeah.
Like, that's intense.
And there's no doubt about it when you watch it, it's a precursor to Star Wars. He sort of cut his teeth on a lot of the effects he would go on to use in Star Wars on this film. So
That makes a lot of sense because I always think he went from American Graffiti to Star Wars, and I'm just like, it just seems like such a weird jump.
this is the one in between.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll sort of tie a bow on it.
So that was it, but I did want to point out something. It was funny when Matt Kay said that he wished he had that bell sometimes. What if the Cinema Wars we have, the winner gets the bell until the next one?
That is great.
Yes.
So if we win the best out of 5, we get
Yes.
the bell for a week.
For
Every single week.
every
Oh.
time. It completely switches.
I don't know if I want the responsibility, but I'll take it for a week.
Wow.
Yeah, but that doesn't give Rye much. But
I don't know if I want to give it up.
This is good. This has
is
gravity.
good. Holy cow.
yeah, this is like when the All-Star game in baseball decided the World Series at home and field
This time it
advantage.
counts.
Oof. Yeah.
I don't like when Elias is out of the job box anymore. I don't like it.
Are we agreeing to this, Ryan?
I don't know. It's a lot of pressure. I got to think about it.
All right, think about it.
That's a good one, though.
All
yeah.
right.
It is.
Yeah. Get back in that job box.
Will do.
And stop coming up with ideas.
Yeah, no more ideas.
Yeah. Man, it brings us
That was
to
brilliant.
it brings us to a segment called
CinemaWAR.
CinemaWAR. Works like this. Me and Matt, we're battling on a topic. I have a bell. Our guest Andrew gets to play judge and jury and tell the listeners who he thinks won this CinemaWAR. And it's important because, A, we're doing a best of 5 and 20 seconds of rant and rave. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Elias, just tell the jawheads what today's CinemaWAR topic is.
Today's CinemaWAR topic: with each new blockbuster trailer that comes out, such as Thor Ragnarok, should we believe the hype, or are we just becoming the studio's lemmings? Matt, you'll be fighting for believe the hype. I already have my Thor ticket. Rye, you'll be fighting for don't believe the hype. We are turning into lemmings. Let this hyped up CinemaWAR begin.
Rye, you have perverted this war. Perverted it, I say. Of course, any hype machine should be treated with skepticism. This argument was supposed to be about the stylistic choices that Marvel has made with the new Thor trailer and how they've really dialed in that Guardian style that the fans and general audience really seem to like. Should we believe the hype? I don't know. Go ask Flavor Flav. But trailer drops are a fun part of the summer movie-going experience. Get on board.
Man, I am so sick of Disney or Marvel or these big studios dropping a trailer and everyone going bonkers like they discovered a cure for cancer. What irks me even more, Matt, is you, Matt K, drinks the Kool-Aid more than anyone I know. You actually made it sound like the entire world stopped, gasped together for the Thor trailer. There are companies that specialize in cutting up these trailers, research to show what works to get people excited. Net result, save this enthusiasm for a film that is already out and deserves it, like Get Out or Colossal.
Shut up. Sometimes I just put on trailers on my TV and watch that for a while. It's impossible to paint all trailers with one brush, Ryan. You, sir, are trailerist. Some are good and some are crap. But a good trailer is like a movie's business card. And I bet you don't go into a business meeting without a card. Do you, Ryan?
No.
Do you?
All right. So this is the problem with Thor. And this is what makes it so bad.
I would have made
here,
my
Matt.
whole argument about Thor. I should have.
All right. Is your thought process here as slow moving as that thought process is? This is it. They got it so right, you tell me over Slack. They got it so right. You say this shocked. Matt, this is Disney. They are spending $250 million on research, marketing, and making this film. The shock would be if they didn't get it right. The point here is they are feeding the public like a drug dealer feeds a junkie. Well, I'm sick of living on the street. I want something new.
It was more about that they switch styles. You're throwing me off here. Lemmings? Psh, Lemmings only follow. Proper movie trailers should show us why we see a movie, deliver some visuals and plot points, and help us make informed decisions. Should we follow blindly? Of course not. But we can use them as a guide and let them get us excited. Let them get us excited, Ryan.
But the problem is, Matt, the problem is you and the rest of the lemmings would walk right off a cliff if Disney asked you to. They have you wrapped around their finger. In actuality, Marvel has given us way more of the same than they have broken new ground. For every Guardians of the Galaxy, you get a Doctor Strange origin story that mirrors Ant-Man, Iron Man, and Spider-Man.
Right. I just saw a funny trailer with cool graphics and the Incredible Hulk busting loose on a god, and it cuts just before the punch lands. It was funny and irreverent, and it did its job of getting me excited. You were probably too busy with your stamp collection or sorting your wine vintages to notice that the rest of the internet was having some fun this week. You were probably the kid who wrote everyone's names down on the blackboard. Get off your high horse, Beta Ray Bill, and join the rest of us who have fun in the good time zone. We show trailers there.
Right. So what's the marvel here, Matt? Thor's last movie sucked, so they changed the style. One Thor movie was enough, 2 was painful, and the 3rd looks downright silly. So they marketed it as quote-unquote hip cheese. Let's remember how cool the trailers were for the Wachowski classics, Speed Racer, Cloud Atlas, and Jupiter Ascending. Take 2 steps back and lower your boner.
Lower your boner.
We are button heads here.
Yeah.
Yes. As always, we butt heads here on CinemaWAR. We throw it to our guest, our jury. Andrew, what did you think of this CinemaWAR?
Okay. It was pretty great. I loved all the personal attacks. I love that we ended with lower your boner.
That is good, I got to admit.
You can't that's just a classic ending. All right. I think I'm kind of a perfect person for this because I have long thought that everyone is just drinking the Kool-Aid and being a bit of a lemming with the Marvel movies as they push forward. However, this Thor movie trailer looks pretty good. I also like that they took a risk with the director. I'm afraid to try to pronounce his name, but I've loved every movie he's made. What We Do in the Shadows, The Hunt for the Wilder People. Man, it's pretty tough, but I'm going to have to say this movie rules. This movie trailer gets it.
So is that a win for...
Oh, yeah. That's a win for you, Matt.
Yes.
Yeah, Matt wins. He also gave me beer, which is a bribe.
Yes.
Wow. Hey, what is that? 3 in a row?
That's 3 in a row.
Best of 5. That means I win.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that mean I get the bell?
Man, that means you get the bell.
Here, take the bell. Well, I gotta hold it for trivia. You get it next week.
I'll give it back to you for trivia. I want to ring it here. I don't even know which button to push. It's the light bulb, right?
No, come on. See, you don't even know how to work that thing.
I'm good enough, man. Wow, this is great. I get the bell.
You feel the power, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
It's like Molnar.
You also get to recommend.
Well done. Did anybody get my Beta Ray Bill reference, by the way?
I thought he was going to be in the trailer when Thor put the helmet down. I was like, the guy who's walking out, so we better Ray Bill. But I was pretty happy with.
What do you mean?
He's got no idea.
He doesn't know Thor Cosmic.
No.
What does the name mean?
Ragnarok.
Oh, whatever that is. What is it?
It's like the apocalypse of the Norse religion.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. I don't even know what the title was referring to.
Clearly, you are not a Gwar fan.
No, I'm not.
And that was my hometown, Richmond, Virginia. It's where Guar's from.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well
Interesting.
done. Love Gwar.
But no, I on a side note, I saw the trailer and I'm not unimpressed. I won't see the movie.
I mean, I'm with you. Like, people are getting insane.
Yeah.
About
See, he's actually
the Marvel movies.
agreeing with my argument that people are getting insane with this stuff.
But with this one in particular,
It looks kind of cool.
it looks kind of cool.
They got that's the thing. They took this Guardians of the Galaxy. They learn from their mistakes and they're growing upon their successes. So they're doing what a movie studio should do. They're giving the audience more of what it has said. We don't like that. We like this. Okay, give them more of that.
And with the connection to Guardians of the Galaxy, this is the second time they're taking a risk on like a real obscure director. I mean, James Gunn for Guardians of the Galaxy, like he just what was the other thing he did? Scooby-Doo and the Troma movies, like such a weird catalog of movies he's made, and they gave him a huge franchise, and he just like knocked it out of the park. So
Same thing. I think they learned their lesson taking Edgar Wright off of Ant-Man. They were like, that was bad. It was the movie. They sort of saved it, but it would have been so much better with Edgar Wright.
Oh yeah. So I mean, Edgar Wright is like my favorite director, so I'm totally pro him being on any film.
All right. Also, because you won 3 out of 5.
It's going to be a long summer for Rye the Movie Guy. Oh,
I don't watch any of these.
He banned it last year. Like, he refused to watch any of the Marvel movies, which made doing this podcast challenging.
Wait, you don't hate Edgar Wright, though. That's what I thought.
No, I like Edgar Wright. Oh, yeah.
Because Baby Driver looks fun.
I haven't seen the trailer for that.
Neither have I.
Oh,
maybe
Ryan, don't watch it because
War.
it's a trailer,
Yeah.
and you might not like it.
Oh, boy. It's just it really irked me how excited Matt is about this thing, you know?
He just hates fun.
Well, the other thing is, Matt, you live in this little bubble where you think, you literally, when you're saying this on like Slack, you're literally saying like, I'm the one that doesn't have fun.
Well, listen, I understand that it's a certain audience, but it's a big audience. I mean, obviously the movies make millions, close to billions of dollars worldwide. So I'm not alone, Ryan. I mean, it was a big deal on the internet for a minute. It really was.
For a minute. Okay. You did win 3 in a row. So you also get to pick a movie of your choice for me to review.
Right.
That was the bet also.
Thor Ragnarok.
No, you got to think of something that I can do relatively soon.
Okay, all right. I'll give it some thought. But
Yeah.
it might just happen to be Thor the Ragnarok.
Next week, come up with something.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. As we went eye for an eye on Free Fire, we are playing fire movie trivia. Think of movies with fire in the title. Andrew, you are our guest. You get to choose if you want to go first or let Matt go first. There are steals, and if you get hung up on a question, you get 1 trip to the ER. Elias Rodriguez has clues to all those questions.
Well, I'm screwed. So I'm going to let Matt go first because there's no chance of me getting one of these right.
Question number 1 over to Matt K. Matt, this 1981 British historical drama tells the story of 2 athletes in the 1924 Olympics. It won the Oscar for Best Picture. Name it.
Wait, 19 Chariots of Fire.
1-0 Matt K.
Ooh. Did you know that one?
Nope.
All right.
I was going to say London Bridge is burning down.
Question 2 over to Andrew. Robin Williams and Sally Field starred in this 1993 comedy that sees Williams dress as a woman.
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire.
1-1. Everybody perfect. These
Fire.
Were
Yeah.
these were the easy ones. Question 3 over to Matt K. Matt, name the 1993 film that starred Clint Eastwood as a Secret Service agent and John Malkovich as an assassin.
I have no idea, so I'm going to just take a guess here. Friendly Fire.
That is incorrect.
It was a good guess.
That
watched
was a
that
good
movie.
guess. We throw it over to Andrew. You have a chance for a steal here. 1993, Clint Eastwood as a Secret Service agent, John Malkovich as an assassin.
Fire Friends. Fair
Also
enough.
incorrect.
Yeah,
We were
figured.
looking for In the Line of Fire. Ever see it?
No.
It's a good one.
It's a serious title for a whimsical film.
It's not a whimsical
It's
film.
not a whimsical film?
Why would you think it's a whimsical film?
I don't know. Sometimes Malkovich does whimsical.
No, this was he was an assassin trying
He
to
could be a whimsical
assassinate
assassin.
the president of the United States.
Okay.
Seek it out. In the Line of Fire, Clint Eastwood's second best movie when he's not playing a cowboy.
What about Dirty Harry?
I'm just all right. I was making a reference to early on. All right, here we go.
Bridges of Madison County?
All right,
Come on,
stop
man.
it. It's still 1-1. Question 4 now back over to Andrew. Andrew, Tony Scott directed Man on Fire, in which Denzel Washington must protect a young girl named Lupita. Who played Lupita in the film? It was Denzel Washington trying to protect this actress who was just a young girl.
Dakota Fanning?
Wow.
Wow. Came off like a guess, like he's playing Jeopardy, right? All right. It is 2-1. Andrew, question 5 over to Matt. You need this one to stay with him.
Okay.
Name the actor who starred in the 2008 film Fireproof, which was about a firefighter trying to save his marriage using a 40-day experiment known as the Love Dare.
What? What?
Is there any chance to get like more information? Like, what is a love dare?
Listen to this thing. Oh, man. Question number 5, Matt. Name the actor who starred in the 2008 film Fireproof, which was about a firefighter trying to save his marriage using a... He's trying to save his marriage using a 40-day experiment known as the Love Dare.
Wow.
You do have a trip to the ER.
What question number is this?
5.
Okay,
Question
this is 5.
How many questions are there overall?
There's 8.
Ooh.
So this might not be a bad opportunity for me to... I mean, okay, what year did you say?
Actor,
Year?
2008, starred in Fireproof. What actor?
I mean, this sounds like something Kevin James would do. You know what? I'm gonna save it. I will say Kevin James.
Incorrect. Down 2-1.
It was a good
Andrew,
guess, though, right?
You can go to the lifeline if you wanted here,
All
but
right.
if not,
Take him to the ER.
whoa, a trip to the ER. Question number 5. Elias Rodriguez, who starred in Fireproof?
This clue will give you growing pains.
Growing Pains.
Growing Pains. I would have had to have watched Growing Pains. If it's not Kevin James, it's Adam Sandler.
Growing Pains. I
Kirk
mean,
Cameron.
Kirk Cameron, right?
Yes.
I don't know anyone in that.
Kirk Cameron.
What is it? Is this like a weird Christian movie?
It is. Yes, it is.
Oh, that's not fair,
Wait, it's
dude.
got fire in the name. Fireproof.
But that's not general market stuff.
Can I find out what a love dare is?
Throw it in the jaw box. Late jaw box. The Love Dare. Yeah. All right. It's still
That's
2-1.
That goes beyond cult film. It's not like
It
cult
was a
film.
very popular film. Believe
Yes.
it or not, it really was.
I
You
don't
should
believe
see
it.
the trailer. Okay.
oh Jesus, the Incredible Hulk in it.
It is still 2-1. And question 6 is over to Andrew. Andrew, name the actor who portrayed the great Jerry Lee Lewis in the 1989 film The Great Balls of Fire.
1989?
1989, Great Balls of Fire was about Jerry Lee Lewis. Who portrayed him?
I have no idea. Matthew Broderick. Yep.
That is
makes sense.
incorrect. Matt, you got a chance for a steal and to tie the ball game. Who portrayed Jerry Lee Lewis in Great Balls of Fire?
Dennis Quaid.
Wow. I didn't think you were going to get that.
I got it.
Yeah.
I wish people at home could see the way they locked eyes before they clicked that button. It was intense.
2-2.
I didn't
Matt
think I would
ties
get
it
it
up
either.
here. And what a swing here, because question 7 now is over to Matt K. Matt, Halle Berry starred as a recent widower left with 2 young kids in this 2007 drama. Name it.
Can I go to the ER?
Whoa! Trip to the ER, Elias Rodriguez. Question 7. What was the name of that Halle Berry film?
This clue is burned up. No way to get it back.
Well, I mean, obviously it is. It's fire movie trivia. This clue is burned up. No way to get it back.
Halle Berry, widower, 2007.
You're fired.
That is incorrect. Andrew, you get a chance for a
That clue
steal.
sucked so bad.
You guessed 2 things that I can't tell if they're movies or not, but sound like movies. You're fired and Friendly Fire. Swordfish. I have no idea.
Things We Lost in the Fire. Never saw it.
Yeah.
Like that clue.
Yeah. Never saw it either.
Well, here it is. It's the last question of the game, and it is tied 2-2. And the question is over to Andrew, who he can win it on a walk-off or give Matt a chance to win it. Andrew, name the 1990 movie that starred Tom Hanks, Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, and Melanie Griffith. Fire movie trivia. Name the 1990 movie that starred Tom Hanks, Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, and Melanie Griffith. For the win.
This isn't right, but Streets of Fire.
Good movie, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Matt,
I know this. I
this
think
is
I
it.
do.
You got a chance for a walk-off.
Bonfire of the Vanities.
Well done,
Wow.
Matt K. I didn't think you would pull that out of your hat.
I never could have.
I don't know how I did.
Matt wins this one 3-2. Can we get a handshake? That
was great.
That was a good game. That was a good one.
Good game.
If it came down to a tie, we call it a jawbreaker. This question would have been to Andrew. Andrew, better movie title: The Girl Who Played with Fire or Quest for Fire?
I'm the girl who played with fire.
Incorrect. Would have blew that one.
Man,
Yep.
Blew it.
I didn't know you could do opinions wrong.
Apparently, again.
The real jawbreaker was this: Age of Kirk Cameron from Growing Pains. This was Mike Seaver. Kirk Cameron, age closest to. Matt?
Okay, Mike Seaver. Let's see. I don't think he's too much older than me, but he was that cool older brother when I was growing up. So he's maybe like, I will say he's 47 years old.
Lock him in at 47.
Maybe even younger.
Andrew doesn't even know Growing Pains.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be hard for me. I'm just gonna go ahead and go over with 50.
give that to Matt K. 46. You almost nailed it.
I was going to say 45 was my gut.
Michael Seaver, 46.
Yeah.
My thinking was just like old sitcoms. People were ridiculously older and
Right.
playing down that I was just going to go above whatever you thought.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, but I mean, like, I was growing up and he was like the teenage heartthrob, and I was just like still a tween. So I knew he was only
okay.
like 5 years older than
Right.
me. Yeah, so
Did you just say tween?
I was a tween at that
geez.
time.
Okay.
At some point, we were all tweens.
I guess. Just such a
See,
weird
this
phrase
guy.
to
I mean,
use.
he doesn't like it because the word is fun to say. Tween.
Tween.
See, he doesn't like it. You see the contempt on his face.
Oh, let's make fun of Ryan.
Yeah.
What a jackass.
I'm gonna get you a Game Boy. That's what you need.
A Game Boy.
Yes, you need to play some video games,
I play video games.
but you haven't recently.
No, not recently.
You need
No.
one.
All
You
right.
need the Switch.
Ah, boy. Good
Play
old
that.
stuff.
Play that Zelda game.
All right. Buy it for me and I'll play it. That sounds like a plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Christmas is coming.
All right. Brings us to the end of a great jaw. We got to thank, first and foremost, our guest. Andrew, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having. This was so much fun.
Pleasure to have you, man.
Absolutely. We also got to thank the sponsors.
Yes. Thanks to all the sponsors and the Chicago Podcast Co-op who help us get those sponsors.
And we got to thank the best engineer in the biz, Elias Rodriguez.
Thanks, fellas.
We are on Twitter at Cinemajaw. We always have fun polls going throughout the week. Poll questions, right? It's a good time.
Yeah.
And also Instagram.
Lower your poll, right?
Yeah. You're ruined. That joke's gone.
It's a great joke, though. I'm going to use that a lot.
It's gonna be my status when I get home.
Yeah, seriously, that was a good one. The best thing I learned tonight: lower your boner.
Oh, man. Good times. Until next week, I'm Ryan the Movie Guy.
I'm Matt K,
And
keep on jawing about the movies.
And Elias, did you find anything about this 40-day experiment known as the Love Dare
Yes.
that Kirk Cameron's all over?
Actually, I did, and I'm starting to read it right now, and I feel like you and Matt should go through this love dare.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Because here's day one. So day one is love is patient. Today's dare, the first part of this dare is fairly simple. Although love is communicated in a number of ways, our words often reflect the condition of our hearts. For the next day, resolve to demonstrate patience and to say nothing negative to your spouse at all.
Oh, I
or
couldn't
podcast
Screw
partner.
that. Screw that.
great.
If the temptation arises, choose not to say anything. Well, then we wouldn't have a podcast.
I agree.
Yeah. It's better to hold your tongue than to say something you'll regret. That's the first dare. Wow.
Fail.
And there's
What's the
40
second
more.
dare?
So there's 40 more of these?
Yes.
Holy cow.
I feel like we
man.
should do one of these every
They made
episode.
a movie of this? Maybe we're going to have to watch Fireproof.
I don't know. Okay, sure. I
Actually,
guess.
the second one's really quick. So day 2, love is kind. In addition to saying nothing negative to your spouse again today, do at least one unexpected gesture as an act of kindness.
Wait, so is it
Guys?
cumulative? Is it cumulative?
Well, yeah, you're supposed to be a better person, right?
No, but do you have to do like by day 40, or are you doing 39 other dares plus the 40th?
But they're already a part of your life, so you're used to it.
That's
so you're just
crap.
So what is 40?
So let's see. This is reads like a Kickstarter with all those perks that you get. All right, so like the ones who did day 1, 40 also get day 1. All right. So love, day 40, love is a covenant. Today's
They're
dare,
really stretching it at that point.
They've run out of ideas.
write out a renewal of your vows and place them in your home. Perhaps, if appropriate, you could make arrangements to formally renew your wedding vows before a minister with family presence.
Dude, we've got to do this. Let's do it next February for Valentine's Day or something.
Yes, make it a living testament to the value of marriage in God's eyes and the high honor of being one with your mate or podcast partner.
Anyone can become a minister online. I'm just saying.
We'll get Andrew.
Yeah, I'll come back.
We'll get him ordained. Come back. We'll renew our podcast vows.
I don't like where this is going. I want a divorce.
Yeah, tough luck, buddy. You're
I
stuck
need
with
an
me.
escape. I need an escape.
See, the podcast pool is pretty shallow, buddy.
You can't get out of a love dare.
No.
Yeah,
I double loved you.
Let's just be glad we skipped day 32 where love meets sexual needs.
Ooh. Yeah, we'll skip over that. It'll be a 38-day dare for us.